best case, like I said, per usual, I think it's just best we'll see what 10 o'clock gives us, and then we'll go from there. Let's see if we get a kind of 5 minute swing. Not really a 5 minute swing or anything out of it yet. Let's check our hourly. You do have an hourly swing down here, so a 5 minute breaker to the upside should mean that we end up pumping, right? We'll watch this 5 minute breaker. Morning, Tom. Morning, everybody. Boom, and there's your pump. Where does -4 take us? -4 takes us basically back to almost Asia highs. Imagine and fill that gap. It could be interesting. We'll see what happens at midnight. Now imagine think about people that were like dying to a short on open back to a London low. See, I'm just waiting for that 15 minute that we failed to close below here. Failed to close below here. It was telling you everything here. Remember how we always talk about when you're failing to put in some kind of breaker down here, where you'll wick it, but you will not close below it. That's starting to tell you something, right? That's why again, candle bodies will tell you everything. Nice, Perry. All right, so here comes midnight. Again, it's very very sketchy when we leave midnight. We did this on Friday too. It was a very ugly long to midnight on Friday, but nice dot. No, maybe no. You had the right idea. Let's go with that. Yeah. We did miss the 15-minute breaker down here though, because now look, right? Now our 4 hour candles could close bullish here. So what would that tell me? Most likely we'll go fill the rest of that gap. That's why you wait for the breakers as your confirmation. Oh my god, we might go to -4 already. 861. So we need 46 on the dot for a little trigger for -4. I think you could end up holding through -4 today too. Hold a runner or two for that gap fill, or even just Asia high. Morning, doggo. Good morning. So yeah, going into this, you're probably like, okay, how could I got there's for me and the way I like to enter it again. I don't like. I also besides not wanting liking to place a trade before 10. Still, there's nothing in here really for me to look to enter. Maybe you got like a 30-second breaker. I guess you got a 30-second breaker there, but you probably got stopped out. That's all hindsight. Really just a straight up pump. So a pump just by looking at not getting that 5 minute breaker. Let's get rid of the double sweeps for now. Don't really need those. Actually, let's check the hourly, see if we had any overnight. No double sweeps overnight. 15-minute, I think, had some double sweeps overnight, though. Yeah, I see one there, and I see one there that you could have taken back to the swing high. All right. Yeah, so I mean, for now, it's basically -4. -4 CB. Maybe get runners up to fill that gap. That's not what I want to do. 8-10ish. Yeah, that's. Well, there it goes. All right, well, there's -4 CB. How the hell are we going to enter this? All right, so this comes our pullback off the 15 point. I don't. Maybe if we somehow get a dip back to midnight, that's a good spot. Be like 100 points. Big candles. Doggo, now don't get bearish minded here because you see a 1 minute devil's mark here. Don't do it yet. I know you love to chase them, but Yeah, I don't think so either, Doc. I don't think I don't think we're gonna get back to it. It'd be nice if we got back here to like midnight and we got like a swing off of it. That'd be perfect. Because -6 probably takes us up to, yeah. -6 almost takes us up to fill that gap. Just a matter of, can we get entered? Max out everything overnight? Oh, you bad man. Well, there's not much we can do here. Still gonna pull back. We haven't hit -4 yet. Not yet, anyway. All right, there's -4. All right, see if -4 goes to give us a pullback. Like sometimes we I know it can give us a big reversal, but we'll see if we push to -6, which takes us up to that basically the gap fill. Just nothing to get nothing to get really involved with here, sadly. Who chased? Anybody chase? Exactly, Doc. It sure does. And like -6 sits basically right at it too. So, or for the newer guys, I know we got some newer people in the stream. -6 is just -4, -6 is just a 30-second, the first 30-second candle of the day. So if you take the 30-second candle at open over here and you like overlapped it or not, you like stacked it up four times, that's where your -4 would be. Simple. But otherwise, so like obviously I'm not gonna get in here in a chase. So what we'll have to be looking for would just be some kind of continuation model back down 25%. I'd be surprised if we get down to 50. But we'll see if we can get something off of 25%. Oh, nice. If this 5-minute Bissy somehow doesn't get tagged or made, this could be a spot where we could look for a 5-minute swing out of it for continuation up to fill the NWOG -6 at 10 o'clock, right? That would just be the hourly continuation model. That's pretty much what's in play here for now. Assuming we close way up here, there's a lot of days where we think we're going to close bullish, and then we end up all the way back at the lows. It's the beauty of waiting for that 10 o'clock close to really get involved. RTHCE makes sense, as well as we've getting a nice little pullback off of -4. We actually might get a 5-minute swing here. Let's see if we get a 30-second breaker to the downside. We don't really get a breaker, right? Because we pump so much we didn't have any down candles. But this would, if we can, we'll see if we hold inside of here, or if we make a breaker. Make a breaker, we're gonna push lower. That's what we've come to expect. Usually, -4 will give us some kind of good retracement. Said some days you'll see -4 we'll reject the -4, and then we'll go all the way back down to the other -4. But the big thing now for me now is just, do we make a breaker to the downside? If you're bullish, you do not want to see that, because you're gonna have a bigger retracement at that point. This is right now. It's looking like just like what it's looking just like the 15 that we failed to make down here. Right, we failed to make this 15-minute breaker. Well, we failed to make this 15-minute breaker. We're just wicking it, kind of getting the same thing here with the 30-second. That's why you wait for that breaker to form, and just chase shorts here. Oh, we're going down. Nope, you have no confirmation here yet. Yeah, I have some Lucid fundeds that I have dialed up in a Replicanto today. 8 trades. Nice, Mike. That makes sense. Let's see. I'm gonna assume, yeah, we're still in this daily range. Still in this daily range. We'll see if we get down to those weekly lows. I think slowly but surely we'll make our way down to those. Like as a weekly target, not necessarily today, right? If we're I guess the news changes a lot of things here in terms of power of 3 of your weekly candle, but we'll see how today closes, and then we can probably expect merely the same tomorrow, and then we'll just see how our daily closes. Obviously, it's going to be way down here. It's going to be a little wonky, but again, that's where we'll go back and we'll just wait. We'll let our hourly candles kind of tell the story. All right, so the 5-minute BISI's in now. It's only 9:40, but we'll see if we can tap into it. If we can tap into it, this 5-minute BISI, something I would try. Well, we may not get it, but it's obviously a huge 5-minute BISI. You're not just going to long this thing, right? And so the only way I would be able to enter, best case would be we get down to midnight. And then you close back above that BISI. Then the same thing here. If there's a 30-second breaker sitting inside of it that you makes it back up to the upside, then I could try to frame some kind of. I could then get long to expect higher prices, and then my stop would just be very very minimal instead of like this entire 5-minute FVG. So we might. Let's do what these candles tell us. Let's see what they do at 10 o'clock here. It makes sense to at least go tap this BISI. Right. I also, from a 5-minute liquidity standpoint, I would be expecting this low simply because you had a candle sweep this 5-minute high up here and then close back inside. So you have a bearish candle here. So at best, we should at least take this 5-minute candle low. Right. That's the same way we trade the hourly, but we're just looking at on the 5-minute chart. Hourly closes bullish. We expect that hourly high to get swept on the next hourly candle. Or the one after that, depending on if it was an inside candle. But I would still be expecting this. Now I would change bias if this candle would then close over here. Then I would say, okay, well that's not if this candle's closing back over here, then I would be bullish. If it's still an inside candle, I'm still expecting us to push down to this 5-minute BISI. Until proven otherwise, like on the 5-minute, I am I'm not bearish. I'm not bearish for the day or anything. I'm just bearish just on the 5-minute because of this close right here. I would at least expect this low to go until proven otherwise, which would be a candle close back above here. Either way, it's just still not. It's a spot where I would never enter any kind of. I'm not shorting here. I'm not shorting because I think this low goes, but if it helps me frame every single candle. And it just keeps you out of trouble too. Gives you a good rule. A good rule. Because you don't get caught longing here. Because like I said, a lot of times you will come back for this low. You're along here when you could have waited for this low to get swept, and then you get long. I don't know what you would enter on inside of here. Maybe you have some awesome model that gets you inside of there, sure. But for me, I just wait. We got about 14 minutes here until 10 o'clock. I don't think we have any news today, right? Oh, well, any scheduled news, I should say. Who knows what could happen overseas? We just have PMI. Okay. The only way I would look to short the Asia sweep is if we somehow got up there quick, and then we made like So the only way I would look so it's either we would have to sweep Asia here, and then for me to have any kind of bearish, we would have to sweep this, and then somehow close back below this candle's low, below the 8 a.m. low, because then I would have an hourly swing. That's how. Obviously, that would be it's very very drastic, right? But the other way that I could try a short is so say this candle closes, right? If this candle closes here, it's just pretend it's not moving anymore. This becomes your 9 o'clock high. 10 o'clock opens, sweeps this high, then gives us and then gives us a 5-minute breaker to the downside. Then I can short that breaker. That would be that's the more realistic thing that could happen here. If I got a 5-minute breaker down, because yeah, the hourly closed bullish, but so if this candle closes like this, just like I was showing you on the 5, we didn't sweep that 5, or maybe we have now, maybe not. Okay, but if we sweep this hourly high, then my target for 10 o'clock has now gone. I can then look at shorts, right? I don't fade the hourly candle until that high or low has been swept, and we have to be coming out of some kind of key level, which inside of this and outside of this NWOG, could be a very good key level, assuming we have a sweep and then a 5-minute breaker back down, because the breaker is then confirming that I'm going to have some kind of a retracement. Maybe I can just take it down to midnight or for 50% of this pump. But I'm not necessarily going for the whole swing back down, but like I can short it to like 50 or something, right? Because then that would also frame what, like if we got like a 10 o'clock short, if my 4-hour candle is going to close bullish, which it is, what am I expecting? But between like 10 and 11 o'clock, I'm expecting 10 o'clock, 11 to like give us a little manipulation, which could be a short down like 50, and then guess what? 11 o'clock reversal until 2 o'clock keeps you pumping up. So I mean, there would be 4-hour like context there, if that were to happen. But that's about the only way that I would look for a short. Long explanation, sorry, but that's the only way for me. Like I wouldn't just short it because we sweep it. I would imagine if we're coming back up here to it, that we're probably going to fill the NWOG now. Otherwise, I think we would have filled it last. I don't think we're going to come up here, not fill it again, and then go all the way back down. So I would imagine we fill that NWOG. But is it bad? I've never used it. I still use Trade for my personal account. Much better in my opinion than a Webull. I guess maybe I'm just more familiar with just a little more familiar with Trade for obvious reasons. All right, so there goes Asia high. Maybe. ES is not at Asia high, so we'll have a little SMT. Actually, Asia already took it. ES already took Asia high, so we have a little SMT up here. We'll see if it matters. If we do not get an SMT on Asia, which doesn't look like it's going to happen, then I would imagine -6 and filling that that NWOG is going to be what is in play here. You don't want to be sure if you're breaking SMTs going in one direction. You do not want to be. You usually do not want to be fading it. Yeah, 976 and -6 is about 960. So we would hit both. Remember, -6 is nowhere near as good as a -4, but it is a pretty good level, just to keep on your charts. A lot of times you'll see us hit -6, and then we'll retrace to -4. He'll one it one of Hill Doggo's favorite plays, but SMT is still in play here. It is still in play. I don't think it's gonna hold. But if we were to somehow get a breaker to the downside, then this would be it. You'd have to wait until we close down here to confirm like you should get a bigger retracement. But at that point, you're almost gonna be at 50. So all right, let's start framing. What are we at? 9:50. So we got 9 minutes until 10 o'clock. 4 hours going to close super bullish, which is what we expect, right? We look for. Uh, we had a 4 hour swing. We did not get the 15-minute breaker though. Sadly, remember I had this pointed out. If you came in late, I was watching this going into open. 15-minute breaker formed off the hourly. We were watching this 15-minute breaker to see if we closed below it. To confirm a dump on open, that told us that we were not going to dump on open because we did not close below it at 9:30. Told us we should pump. And I mean that's so far that's just really been it. And now we're just watching to see what happens up here on the highs. I'll be watching. See if we get like a 1-minute breaker to the downside here with this 15-minute swing. So I'm not shorting this. Just simply watch it. We'll see because you have a 15-minute up here that swept the prior 15. So I'd be looking for I'd be looking for a 1-minute breaker to the downside here. Should mean we at least go to what the 5-minute BISI. I mean, I'm not gonna scalp that, but it's probably like a 90% chance that that'll work out. But I like that 5-minute BISI is still open though. It could be what we're waiting for at 10 o'clock. So at 10 o'clock, we'll be looking at this continuation model. Looks like we might open right around 25. So continuation model, we just fib out that bullish hourly candle that closed above the previous hour, and then we're going to the lower time frame and looking for PD arrays that that will align us, around there. That then we can then look for continuation, right? Because if this hourly closes bullish, we're expecting price to come retest and take the previous hour high, which would be up here, which would also be what your Asia highs. Now, if this thing closes inside the BISI, you have a 5-minute breaker to the downside, and then I do not want to long. What I want to see is I want to see us tap into this BISI, and then kind of what we did down here with that 15-minute breaker, wick it, and then close back above it. That's failing to put the breaker into the downside, which is my first sign that I'm looking bullish here. My second sign is I am wicking into this BISI and then closing back above it. That's not bearish. And then if I can get a breaker to the upside, that tells me that 5-minute low should be good, and then I can try to frame some kind of long off of that back to targeting the new WOG fill and Asia highs. So that's why I'll just wait. I always wait for that 5-minute confirmation to tell me where a price wants to go. That way, I'm always trading on side of the hourly, unless I'm looking for a short scalp, obviously off of the hourly, or we've already swept the previous hour lower high. And then I'm always trading on the side of the hourly, and then I'm always trading on side of the 5-minute. Just makes my trades a lot higher probability of hitting that way. So I'm never fading the 1, the 4 hour, or the 5-minute order flow that the candles are showing me. So you should always be good with taking a loss if you're always on side of those higher time frame candles and the 5-minute. But yeah, Chad, it's just the new week opening gap. Just where we gap down. So we did make the 1-minute breaker. So this would be something like, obviously with better context. I'm not taking this, but I would expect something like this to work. We'll watch it and see if it does. I'm not taking this. It fits the context with a 15-minute sweep and a 1-minute breaker down. Means you should take some kind of like 15-minute low or like some kind of 5 or some kind of 5 minute low. But do not take it. We have a new hourly coming up. And if we're still inside of here, we could always go up and take that 10 o'clock high first and then go back down to that 5 minute. Hopefully not. Hopefully we just chop here and then 10 o'clock manipulates us down into here. Hopefully we can look for just a chop inside of here. 10 o'clock opens here. We get a wick down here. Maybe we go to midnight. We hit 50 of that previous hourly. We get and then we get a 5 minute swing back to the upside where we can target Asia. Hopefully. Otherwise, otherwise a short could be in play too. If you're going to manipulate up and take 10 o'clock or sorry 9 o'clock high first, then there's a chance that okay now I can maybe frame a short back down to this BISI because then you would have swept that 9 o'clock high and then a short would be a little more plausible. But just for like a scalp, but. Yep, that's what I'm hoping for, Doc. I'm hoping we don't go right now. I'm hoping we chop here another 3 minutes. Your 10 o'clock wick of your hourly forms down inside this BISI. So say you like I said, what I'm looking for is us to open up here. This forms your 10 o'clock wick, and then once you start breaking back above the open, hopefully this is your breaker, and then you've got clearance that okay now I'm busting back through the hourly open back to the upside here. This should be my long setup here. That's what we're looking to potentially frame here. Hopefully we keep chopping and that comes to fruition here. Yep, that too. Midnight is 50% of that 9 a.m. hourly candle. So I would not want to be sitting in any position no right now because I can see us just chopping here for another 3 minutes. So hopefully nobody's actually in this. Yep, exactly. That too, Duck. That too. So yeah, I mean, the 15-minute candle is going to close here. If it closes below, what would I expect? This 15-minute low to go inside of that BISI. And then if I'm still bullish on the hourly, this is where I look for continuation play. This is where I look for a 5 or a 15-minute swing back out of this BISI to then confirm longs or a 1 minute or a 30-second breaker. If this had better RR, this is something I would probably trade. But we're just already sitting basically right here at 25%. So obviously negative R. I'm a good here. And you also got a 5-minute swing up here too, right? So this is that 50-minute low. So yeah, right. You still swept this. You swept the previous. You swept at 9:45, 5-minute high, closed back inside. I guess you would have only been expecting that low. Yeah, actually no. You would be expecting this low, which is that 15-minute. Yeah, looks like we're just gonna chop here until 10 o'clock. You'll see which way we manipulate first here at 10 o'clock. Right. If we manipulate up, then maybe we're gonna have a bigger down move. Like I was saying, for 10 o'clock. Maybe 50% of this whole move, back down to midnight, something like that. Or if we manipulate down first, what's that telling us? We do not want to trade in the direction of the first move of the hourly candle, because it is likely going to be your manipulation forming the hourly wick. We want to trade in the second move when price starts crushing back through the hourly open. All right, here's 10 o'clock. right, so 4 hour obviously close is super bullish. I think our 4 hour is gonna be about the same size as our hourly here. Yeah, or no, it's a little bit smaller. So 25% of your 4 hours sitting there. Actually, it's a little bit lower. We can get rid of that breaker down there. So the 4 hour sits here. Actually, no, sorry. The hourly slow is just a little bit different, but there you go. There goes your 15-minute low based off just watching that swing. I still expect us to get down to this 5-minute BISI. We did hit the 15-minute BISI though, so we'll see. We'll see what that means. So we have 10 o'clock open sitting up here. Let me get rid of. Let me clean up these charts a little bit. Let's turn this off. Where's midnight sit? Midnight just sits at 7:59, so just above 50. It's a nice one. That's a hell of a 5-minute candle. That's a 60.55 or 1-minute candle. All right, so yeah, we just hit the 15-minute. Which obviously, if you were shorting this, which you shouldn't have been, you would have taken profit probably at that 15. And once you seen that new 15 close. But like I said, this is not a trade I would ever take. Just had it there to see. Oh no, what did I just do? There we go. Wrong thing. All right. So we do have a 1-minute breaker to the upside here now. We'll leave that 5-minute. We'll leave that 5-minute BISI down there. I would expect this break. I also expect this 1-minute breaker to hold up to Asia. I just don't like any. I just don't like the RR here. It's just not worth it. I would expect this breaker to hold. I don't like the devil's mark. We crashed back through the open after already putting in some manipulation. So maybe this candle, if this candle is going to expand, you're not going to have a lot of time for manipulation, right? You would expect a small wick, a quick wick, and then you would expect expansion on this hourly candle. The problem is, like, I'm not going to take a trade that's sitting here, that's at the breaker, and I'm looking for here, but my stop's got to be all the way down here. Like, it's unless you're going for higher prices up to the end wog. Like, I don't know. There will be much better trades than taking in this. See if we got a 30-second. Yeah, it's a 30-second too. Like I said, I would expect this to hold. I would 100% expect this to hold. It is it's a breaker off of a 5-minute swing out of that 15-minute, right? So you're making a 5-minute swing here with a 30-second breaker. We expect this to hold. We expect this to be that 5-minute candle's low. There goes Asia. The problem is, I'm not going to take this is not worth it. For some reason this doesn't work. You're gonna absolutely regret it. But you shorted just now. Nice. That's not nice. Yeah. Great fills. So basically, this is your 1-minute. This is your 30-second 1-minute unicorn sitting here, which is what is this is the normal trade that we look for. There's just not anything here. I want to see a breaker form like down here, and then my RR is actually worth it, because then I'm looking at something like this, where my stop's at that 5-minute low, and now I have a nice 2R trade. especially on a Monday. I know there will be great setups the rest of the week. Moving to trade station. Trade stations, their margins are very, very expensive. You need like 3 or 4 times the capital that you need if you would trade with either AMP or just Tradeovate by themselves. If you get oh, you can't get Tradeovate? Like okay. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. I don't know enough about it. It's not trade station. Their margins are very, very expensive. I don't know they are exactly like on Tradeovate. It's like you need $100 to trade one MNQ. But like on TradeStation, I want to say it's like 400 or 500. You can trade one MNQ, and it's probably even worse now. Yeah, Iron Beam might be good. I've I have heard of that. Oh, you're in a penny stock business? That's crazy. Black. All right, so I mean, yeah, the NWOG fill takes us up to what, about 975 or so. Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. So I mean, remember if we're just gonna have, and we also that was also off of that 15-minute BISI was also. So remember how we look for PD arrays that line up with our 25 and 50s. That was also the 15-minute. We also hit 25 of our hourly candle there, which was also 25 of that 4-hour candle. Right. That's what we're looking for. When we're looking, that's typical. It's just point blank. That's just easy, the easy continuation model. Problem for me, like there's just no, that's exactly what we look for. There's just not a clean setup, off of it. Hourly closes bullish. We look for a retrace to form that wick on the new hour down to 25, down to 50, and we look for that bullish setup off of it. But a bullish setup that's forming basically back at that hourly high just takes your RR out of it. Obviously, we expect higher because if it closes, when the hourly closes that bullish, it's obviously telling you price wants something on the higher time frame that's actually much higher. But your first target's got to be just that hourly high. I guess it doesn't have to be, but I mean, if it could be. So it's not much. It's not much you can do there, but you see it play out. It's just not a great looking trade. Nice, Doc. Did you take that? Did you take the breaker? Right. That's all we look for, right? We look for a 5-minute, like the 1 minute here. We look for a 15-minute swing, right? We had a 15-minute swing here. What did this 5-minute and this 15-minute here tell us? Told us to look for this candle's low, which also was what that BISI. Okay, so we expect this BISI. Now if we're still bullish on a higher time frame, if we get a 5-minute, 15-minute swing out of it, then we can look for a lower time frame breaker to take us back up to those highs, right? Or at least back up to this candle's high, or this candle hasn't closed yet. But like obviously, when this candle closes, if it closes up here bullish, what am I expecting? I'm expecting the next candle to push here. So just reading candles, guys. Just reading candlesticks and their closures. It's so good. But like, so if I'm looking for anything out of here, if I go to my 5-minute, you guys already see there's that 5-minute swing right here. We sweep into that 15-minute BISI. We make a 5-minute swing, and then inside of here, I'm looking for a 30-second breaker to confirm that this low is safe. Because if you're making a breaker back to the upside, and on your higher time frame candle, which in this case is the 5-minute, this low we're not gonna come back for this low. I mean, there'll be sometimes when price is bad, or sometimes it's just not going to work. All right, nothing's 100%, but that's what you're looking for. And same thing I look for on the 4 hour and the 15 minute. Right, we make a 4 hour down here. We had a 4 hour swing, 15-minute breaker to the upside. I was not bearish today unless we were going to start crashing through this, or if we make a 15-minute breaker back to the downside, right? So it's how I get a bias on the higher time frame, and it's also how I enter on the lower time frame based off of what I'm seeing on the higher time frame. Simple stuff. Once you start to see it and it starts to click, it's game changing. But NWOG feels coming in hot. Let's check gold quick. Gold. So I'd be looking for gold shorts here, right? I'd be looking for gold to come back to this hourly low. Bearish close here, so I'm looking for shorts off of 25 or 50, and I go to my lower time frame. Like, okay, what do I see sitting here? Not much inside of here right now. Obviously, this was before the hourly candle closed. I know that this looks good. And you're like, oh, that's 50%. Well, the hourly wasn't closed yet, but so you're looking for something after 10 o'clock to reject off of 25, 50. But right now, I would not short gold. Why? I would not short gold because this candle closed bullish. I would be expecting this 5-minute high to go. So if we got like a 5-minute, if we sweep this, so if we would go up and sweep this 5-minute high, close back inside it, and then there's like a 30-second breaker here, that's my short. My stop is this high, and I'm going for what? This low. Your RR is off the charts. Not literally, but almost. All right. So what does oh my gosh, gold was clean. Gold was clean. So if you look at gold here, NQ is just still just sitting there, not doing much. But look here on gold. Just barely closed above it, but look, I mean, just very clean. And then as soon as you got that as soon as you get that 15-minute breaker, this hourly high is safe, right? So we look for our hourly swing, 15-minute breaker is right here. You should not go back to this hourly high. If you're shorting this with that 15-minute breaker and you're expecting lower because of your 4-hour swing, right? Your stop's got to go to this candle's high. This hourly high. Actually, that's more of a mitigation block, to be honest, because it didn't sweep a new high. But same thing. I guess this would be the better breaker. But yeah, still it's the same concept here. Maybe there's an SMT with a silver. But all right, let's check. I want to check out NG. See if NG looks any. Same thing for Natty Gas. I would be expecting shorts continued back down to this hourly low. All right, probably 50 of this hourly candle. See if there's a 5-minute BISI or something in there. Yeah, so probably I would imagine it rejects inside of this order block, right? Probably this a little gap. So we'll see if NG comes back to these lows. All right, back to NQ. So the 5-minute sweep would confirm the hourly low is incoming. On gold, you mean? I mean it doesn't confirm it, but like your bias is bearish because of the hourly close. So you're expecting that to go. But so if you got the sweep here, it's a shot that you can take at it. You want it to look something like this, where you've already got the sweep up here. Obviously, this happened at 9:40, not at the new hour. But so you're looking for this 5-minute sweep off of 50, obviously of this swing, and then you're going on to your lower time frame, and you're looking for your 30-second breaker, like to confirm it, and then you see right there. Once you close below it there, this candle made the breaker, and then there's your retest, and then obviously you'd probably still be short here, looking for that low, but you didn't have much context there though to take that short. That's just kind of hindsight, right? Because at this point, this candle wasn't closed yet. when that 5 minute swing happened, this 5 minute wasn't closed yet. So you didn't have context to say, oh, we're going back down to this low based off of this candle. But if you see this kind of setup inside of here after your hourly has done closed, then you can be like, okay, now now this previous hour low should be my target. But when it aligns with the higher time frame, yep. We have not filled the NWOG yet. So the NWOG fill would be at the, let's see here. Yeah, be about 975. Yep. That's what helps you get that extra confirmation for sure. Because then it gives you that lower time frame confirmation along with your higher time, to get in line with your higher time frame. And the best part is it keeps your stop extremely, extremely small. Like if you took that 30-second short on gold, pretending this was your actual setup, this is literally what your trade looks like. Who wouldn't want to try that? So it's the beauty of it. I wonder if Natty Gas made a 30-second breaker down here. Looks like it did. Looks like it would have just failed. Actually, yeah, it still made a breaker. Oh, and NG would have failed there. So now I got an hourly swing out of here, which we already knew this 15-minute low is safe. Right? We knew this was going to turn into a 15-minute swing point. Swing point just meaning sweep and close back inside or above, in this case, the previous 15-minute candle. Was confirmed simply by the breaker right here that we watched just close above and then go. As soon as we close above there, your mindset should already go to boom, and then apply that to your 4-hour, 15, and your daily and your 4-hour chart, and you always have a way to find a bias. Which I've been noticing lately. It's actually something that I want to back test, is maybe being able to catch that open move. Because on Friday we had the same thing, right? On Friday we had, I think we had already made a 15-minute breaker to the downside, or maybe that was Thursday, and then open simply just dumped after that. Let's see. I think we have it right here. Maybe it was Thursday. Thursday was good though. Thursday, so obviously not much in terms of on Friday, because Fridays was just pretty blah. But on this was something that I'm looking to start backtesting. So like here, and then at 9:15, when this candle closed is when we opened. But if you look, it also formed what? It also formed this 15-minute breaker, and then we just straight. That's you guys mentioned Thursday was just that huge down day. I think Wednesday was just as good, but something that, like, maybe can help you trying to kind of get in a line with it. But looks like yeah, Wednesday there was not really a breaker formed. But like if there is, and there's like today and Thursday, gives you a little clue to which way open should go. Yep, exactly, Tom. Just based off of where your last 15-minute breaker is, based off of London and Asia. What I have traded? I didn't trade London last night, but we finally got. Oh my gosh, we finally got a nice hour. So like on London, I tried 2 or 3 times last week to trade it, because I want this candle right here. I want this. I want this 10 p.m. candle to close either below or above, or to form some kind of swing point like the 2 a.m. candle did. So we could have looked for shorts. I did not play London last night, but I would have been, if I would have got up, I would have been looking for this, which really didn't really do much because this candle closed here, uh, 2 a.m. opened. Yeah, there's just not much. Unless the only play from London would have been when 2 a.m. obviously when we formed this 15-minute breaker to the upside, like the one I was watching here. But there I would have waited for some kind of retest. We just hit the unicorn here, and obviously the rest was history, and that's where we're at now. But remember, pay attention when you wake up and pay it. Go to your London and look which way and look at what your London 2 to 3 a.m. candles are telling you. If you have a 4 hour swing point or an hourly swing point in there, damn good chance that New York's going to either continue to your higher time frame objective. Because if you're getting a 4 hour swing, that's telling you price is now ready to go to some kind of 4 hour or daily liquidity point. So those are your very telling candles. Those are the 4 hour candles you should be looking at every single day when you wake up and you get to the charts. Not necessarily. I mean, you go to your 15, but those hourly swing points are going to tell you, you know, what higher time frame targets that they are in like as soon as you see the swing, you're obviously already targeting this high, but you're probably expecting a lot more. This is your candle one, this is your candle two. You're looking for expansion on this candle off of your 4 hour swing here. So you're doing the same thing. You're fibbing this out. You're like, okay, off of 25.50. We didn't get to the breaker. Best part would have been if we got down to that breaker because we know longs off of the open of these candles, very sensitive area, especially when there's a breaker inside of this wick, and then that's the breaker that formed off of that swing point. Very sensitive level, and that's in that if price is going to expand, that's usually a damn good spot to get in. Yeah, potentially here on Mike. That's very possible. Remember, we kind of talked about that where we could have 10 o'clock wick up here, and then we have like an 11 o'clock to a 2 p.m. short or slow trickle down short to like 50% of this swing. Very possible. And then your 4 hour candle gives you a 4 hour swing here, a swing point back down. So I'd be looking for any kind of 15-minute breaker to the downside going into the afternoon. If so, then I'm expecting us back down, right? Yep. So it's just always thinking about what your hourly and your 4 hour candles can look like, and then using your lower time frame to get in line with what you think that hourly that hourly in that 4 hour candle is going to look like based on what it did when it opened. 10 o'clock obviously opens here, so we expect what? We expect 10 o'clock to continue higher, or at least go hit its intended liquidity spot up here, and then we'll see how 11 o'clock closes. Now, if our 10 a.m. candle goes up and fills this NWOG, or gotta make sure N or ES doesn't fill its NWOG, because you could have like an SMT on that NWOG fill. But if we have like 11 o'clock closing back inside here, what am I expecting? I'm expecting 11 o'clock to have a move down to this hourly BISI, right? Simply because of it could not close above. That's telling me that it did not have the strength there. So I'm expecting us down to this BISI. Would be my target. And then if we get a 5-minute breaker to the downside, which right now we would be at the hourly BISI because this would be your breaker. But once we got that breaker, then I would be like, okay, now I can look for a short. So best case here, if you're looking for a short, you want to see like this down candle, or maybe this, if depending on how this one. Say just this candle closes. Actually, they're all going to close here in about a second. So it's just like a doji. I would be okay with so what I would want to see here is 10 o'clock, continue up, fill that NWOG, and then close back below this, and then I can look for like a short inside of this 5-minute breaker to take this to this BISI when 11 o'clock opens. But for now, there's not much. There's not much here. You do have a 5 minute double sweep right here to the upside. We'll see if this holds. See if there's a little 30-second breaker in here. There, I don't know about that. I don't know about that a little guy. But you got a 5 minute double sweep. So I would be expecting. Oh well, we already took that high. Yep, exactly. How did your higher time frame candle close? Get in line with that. Don't predict anything. That's why everyone last night on X is like, I think we're gonna do this. I think we're gonna do this. I'm just sitting back like, I'm waiting on 10 a.m. baby. Or how's that 10 a.m. candle gonna close? And I'm gonna try to get in line with the width of that. I'm not gonna sit here. Imagine sitting there stressing what the markets are gonna do all night, sitting back in your recliner. Already driving yourself nuts on a Sunday evening, and you've got five more days of mental anguish on the away. Like, get, keep giving yourself that mental break from the charts. That used to be me though. That used to be me. I used to sit there and dying to see what the futures do on Sunday Open. Just refresh, and just I'm like, shit'll drive you nuts. And now when you get to when you get a system that just will tell you where price wants to go, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You wake up, you see what your hourly and your 4 hour are doing. If they're in line, you get in line on the lower time frame with that, and figure out where your higher time frame liquidity is based on what those candles are telling you. And you get in line, you take a trade, you go have a good day. Yep. Yep, BMAC. Yep. Like people probably dying to push buttons last night as soon as the market opened. It's just between that and the Apex affiliate code shilling last night, man. X was brutal. All right, so for now we'll see how this 5 minute candle closes. Obviously we have another sweep here. We're just going to get a little choppy. Probably nothing here until 11 o'clock, but yep, exactly, Mike. Yep. Like, yeah, we'll probably drop, but like you don't know if this thing's gonna pump. This pump probably caught everybody off guard last night. And then everybody starts chasing up here. Oh, gap fill, and then you get stopped down here, and then you're going to bed with blown accounts. You didn't even make it to New York. Like, yep, exactly, Hayes. Like, I mean, I used to trade a lot of Asia, and I mean, I still will, but I only trade Asia when it's like moving, and like there's a couple times like about a month ago when it was moving, really good. It was moving like New York, but like, why stress about trying to make 10 or 20 points in Asia? Obviously, last night was moving a little bit more. But why stress about making 5 or 10 points unless you have like a proven model in Asia that you just execute like kind of like mechanically? Why worry about 10 or 5 or 20 points in Asia? That's going to take you like an hour to get when you can just come to New York and get those 20 points in like a minute, and then go have a nice day. Remember, just like you might say, oh, it doesn't bother me now, but just remember, like not this is like going off topic of trading, but like stress is what kills us the most, right? Like that's what like wears your body down the most. I'm sure Doc can attest to that. But like, keep you don't need to stress. It's just adding extra stress that your body and then everything else, that it's yeah, it's just wearing your body out. It's wearing your organs out. It's wearing all that stuff out. It's just I'm not a doctor, but I mean there's a lot of good studies on what stress does to your body. So why worry about that stuff when you usually have pretty good PA over here? Yep, exactly, Doc. It's what will age you the most and kill you the most. probably worse than processed foods. I would say worse than processed foods. And the booze in the yeah. All right, so just a 5 minute outside candle here, but it swept this low last. There's just not much here. There's not much here, guys and ladies. Yep, exactly. It's just not worth it. All right, so let's see. NG, did NG make a 15-minute swing here? Yeah, I think I would wait for NG made a 1 minute, so I'm not taking this. I'm just gonna watch this. But you got a 1 minute breaker here down on NG. You would have a small stop. I think that would be my stop. Yeah, and I'd be looking for the hourly low wherever it was, which would be all the way back down. We'll see if that plays out. I just haven't backtested NG enough to like be fully confident in taking it, but we'll watch. We'll watch it. Gold, still not really doing much. Remember on gold, none of these candles matter to me. None of these candles matter because this is the candle that I want. Well, this candle matters now because it's swept this high. Remember, this candle closed bullish here. The 1005 candle closed bullish, so and all these inside candles don't matter to me until one side of this 5-minute candle gets interacted with, and then I'll be like, okay, so what does this 5-minute candle do? Does it close above? Then gold's not ready to get to a short yet. I want to see it gold sweep this high and then close back inside of it. Give me a breaker to the downside. Then I have context to take a short. Yep, exactly, Mike. Yep. It's like I used to be like so mentally drained. Like especially when I was like trading options and I was swinging trades, and I'll just be sitting here watching futures all night. Before I even knew of ICT, where I'm looking at futures, I'm like, oh, I'm green and I'm in calls, not realizing that London's probably going to reverse, and I'm going to wake up red. But before any of that, and understanding candle structure and candle timing and a movement. But yeah, I mean, it just unnecessary stress, unnecessary. Come to New York for an hour or so, get it out, and get gone. Yep, for sure, for sure. Yep. Swinging options has made me lose so much sleep. Yeah, exactly. And you could close them. Yes, which they should be short. They should be short shortly. I'm not sure what the timeline is for that. Is it summer? Okay, I thought it was spring. So I'm glad to hear that it's summer. Hopefully, this year and it doesn't get pushed back. What's gonna be cool is I did see we're supposed to have single stock features too, so we should be able to trade like, which I don't know. It sounds like a good idea, but I think I'd rather just focus still on like one or two assets instead of like having Tesla futures, Nvidia futures, Apple futures. It'll be interesting. At least the way at least the way that I understand. I think that's what it's supposed to be. Now we're just getting choppy here. Not much here. We'll see what 11 o'clock does, and then go from there. Yeah, you get like I don't even know what like 10 would be instead of quad witching. Deco witching? Would it be deco witching? I don't know. Exactly, Mike. All right, this feels like it would be like way too many charts to keep track of again. And then guess what? Adding more stress. So we actually got a 5-minute. We actually got a 5-minute double sweep here. We'll see if it works. I would only if we would have to have a 30-second breaker to the upside. So I would expect I would expect a push here if we can close above this 30-second and get a 30-second breaker. I would expect a little push here. Why? Because we have a 5-minute double sweep. I don't have confirmation that it's going to work because I don't have the breaker yet. But I have candle 1 here that closed up inside of here. But then I have this candle. I have the 10 10 25 that swept candle 1 here, closed up inside. Candle 3 sweeps candle 2, also closes it inside. What's it showing me? It's showing me price is not wanting to close below my 5-minute candles and to push lower here. So I should be looking at a possible reversal here. Maybe not full on reversal, but like maybe to the other side of this choppy range reversal. That is true. That is true. I guess we didn't leave a 1 minute. Is that a 1 minute devil's mark? And it's a 30-second. I guess there's that now. Now that's a nub. That is not a devil's mark. Just a little nub there though. All right, see how we're failing to make the breaker here? It keeps you safe. It keeps you out of trouble. You did not make a breaker here. You are not taking longs. Right? Even with the double sweep, it's why you can't trade double sweeps, mechanically. You can trade it mechanically if you got a breaker, I would say, maybe, but I tend to like the double sweep on the 15 and the hourly good a lot more though, right? Because if you get 2 hourly candles that are doing that, right, it's usually a good sign that you're going to have some kind of hourly reversal. Let's go to 15. Let's check in on the double sweep. If you haven't got the double sweep indicator, I think I put it in the Leppyrd channel over the weekend or Friday. Yeah, it's inside of there. I don't think we had any overnight though on the 15. Oh yeah, we did. That's right. We had two longs. So yeah, you're just seeing where you have sweep, sweep, pump. Candle 1 here. Closes inside here, closes up inside candle 1, sweeps candle 2, closes up inside here. Again, I said it on Friday, but like if you just traded these double sweeps like this with a breaker, that's literally could be the simplest model you could ever use. The problem is for most people are not gonna want to wait for a 15-minute double sweep. They're not gonna be patient and they're not gonna be patient enough. We did get the breaker. That we did, and now you see, and now you're getting that push. Probably not. Doesn't mean you're going all the way back up, but you're getting a substantial move back up to the upside, basically back up inside of this range here. That's why you wait. That's why you wait for that breaker. Actually, I think we got another sweep, didn't we? Yes, we had a triple sweep, but that would have kept you out, and then you could take this breaker if you're looking for a little scalp or you have context to go higher here. Because then at this point you have a 5-minute double sweep, and you got a breaker. If you take a loss there, then so be it. It's an okay loss, but there's just nothing good to target right here. I'm just still sitting in a range here 20 minutes before a new hourly candle comes in hot. But yeah, those were the double sweeps from overnight. It gets even better if you go to the hourly. Like, who's gonna wait? I don't know why this one isn't marked. I think there's something. I think I got to fix. I got to fix the indicator. But this is a double sweep up here. You had one here, and then you had this one here. Oh, sorry. Don't look at it there. There you go. You have sweep, both close back inside. I think this one didn't. This one doesn't register. I think on the indicator because it actually closed below, and it didn't actually close inside candle 1's range. Which if it closes below, that's even more context that you're ready for a short. But yeah, so that's why like if you waited just for hourly double sweep like that, you could. That's literally all you could make a living off of that. But like I said, even probably I would have some like I would it's maybe something you can automate. But Yeah, just back testing and just always combining, just combining like the parent with the with the subordinate, I guess you would say, of it. So there's always pair the 4 hour, the 15, the hourly, the 5 minute, the 15 to the 15 to the 1 minute, and then the 5 minute to the 30 second. But I mean, sometimes the 30 second and the 1 minute will be a breaker, together. Like the 30 second will also be the 1 minute, and then I mean, to me, that makes it that much better. But that's why. Just I mean, yeah, that and just looking at back testing. Man, this thing's really pushing. Just off of that hourly or that 5 minute. I do not suggest taking double sweeps off the 30 second chart though, or the 1 minute. The 5 minutes really where I draw the line. Not even a big fan of the 5 minute. Like the 5 minute, a 5 minute double sweep, like out of like this out of that 5 minute Bissy down here, or out of this 5 minute, or out of that 15 minute. Then I'm like, okay, yeah, like if I'm getting this set up out of like 15 minute Bissy, and I'm expecting Asia highs, then that's something where I'm pouncing on this setup. But just saying that we're in chop and time is already like, we're at 10:40. It's like price isn't going to like have some crazy distribution at 10:45 now. Like I'd rather just wait for that new 11 o'clock candle when I know like a whole new hourly expansion can then happen. This goes back to like I don't like taking trades after 30 after the hour unless we're like obviously in an obvious trend, and we're in the middle of expanding and I get like a 5 minute swing to continue expansion and I have an obvious target. But right now we're just sitting inside of chop. So I'm not just going to take a random 5 minute double sweep. Cool to see it work, but doesn't mean I'm going to take it. So we'll see. For me, we'll see what 11 o'clock has to offer. We'll see. Do we get an hourly swing? Or if the hourly closes like this, we can then look for another. We can then look for another continuation model up to the upside. Or there's always a chance that we do go down for this hourly Bissy first, which would be out of not necessarily out of character, but that's something I would still look for alongs, especially if this high is still intact. Like sometimes you'll see, we'll close above here, so you're looking at 25 or 50 for continuation. But sometimes we'll go all the way back down and take this low, especially when there's like a Bissy there. But since this candle closed above, I'm still bullish. I'm still bullish up here. So any kind of 5 minute, 15 minute swing out of this hourly Bissy, all it did was just improve my RR tremendously. Because I'm going back up here, and then I'll be looking for the end walk. But the key is what will keep you out of trouble there, and like, well, how do I know if it's going to go that hourly Bissy or not? Well, you really don't. So, but what keeps you out of trouble is you waiting for that breaker or waiting for that 5 minute swing point off of 25 or 50 here. If you're not getting it off of 25 or 50, you're not taking a long anyway. And then so what's going to happen? You're going to watch it move down to here. And that's okay because you had no confirmation long off of 25 or 50 to tell you continuation, because we're not just longing these levels, right? We're waiting for that 30-second breaker, that 1 minute breaker off of these levels to then keep, because then it keeps our stops small and our targets big. Nice, Chad. So this goes back to again trading. So trading with the 5 minute with the 5 minute bias. So I need a 5 minute swing off of 50, off of 25. Now there'll be some cases where we don't get a 5 minute swing, but we'll get a crystal clear 30-second breaker, and maybe we get like a 15 minute swing, and then I'm still taking that. But man, so that breaker is gonna send us all the way back up. Maybe. Sorry if I jinxed anybody's longs here. Like with better context, I mean, for sure, that's something that I would try if that's like If this was if it like, and, you know, the other context is if this was like the hourly open, like here, then this is your 10 o'clock wick, and then this is your breaker off of that. That's that's the timing and the setup. Right here, the timing for me and the way I like to frame my trades just doesn't line up here. But I don't think I have options. NWOG on. There we go. Ugh, that's too much. All right. I'm just going back. Look at your 4 hour sweeps here. 4 hour double sweep, game over. 4 hour double sweep, game over. 4 hour double sweep, game over. Back to the highs at least, right? You rarely see a 4 hour double sweep fail, man. I'm telling you, the higher you go, the better it gets. Maybe I'm sharing too much here. Maybe not. All right. All right, let's see what 11 o'clock does. We'll hang on until then. Trump speaking at 11. Oh man, you just ruined my morning, Ariel. You just ruined it. The double sweep indicator is here. I'll just link it to you. Just go to here. It's just called double sweeps. Double sweep pattern, I think. Yeah, double sweep pattern. But it's inside of there. Just click on that. It'll take you right to the right to the link, so you can add it. I think I missed that, Chad. I think I missed that. Remember, I've posted on. I don't think this really applies to the daily much, but I've posted it on Twitter too. But if you look, here's your double sweep on the daily. Remember back here from mid Feb, you had double sweep pattern here. What do? We dump. We had a double sweep pattern here. What do? We pump. Whoa. All right, let's go back to the charts. Let's check gold quick. Okay, so gold. Oh, you might have missed a setup here, Cash. You might have missed a setup here. Granted, the timing's still a little wonky here on gold, but so your sweep would have been here. So this would have been probably your breaker that you would have taken with your 5 minute sweep. But look at that. I mean, if you're taking this breaker on gold, you have a 6 point stop on gold, which used to be huge, but now it's normal. But yeah, exactly, Tom, exactly what it is. It's just price showing you lack of strength or a weakness to continue lower or a higher. And then if you get a breaker inside of there, and the even better part about it is you usually I can't say always, because there will be fake outs, like that's why you can't just trade it mechanically. But like a lot of times you won't get a breaker on like candle two here, and it'll keep you out of trouble. Like I would have to go back and look and see, but I would venture to guess that there's probably not a 1 minute breaker on this candle here, which would have kept you out of trouble. On this candle, there's likely a breaker, and that's how you can then trust it. But I'd be curious to go back and look. But Monday, March 2nd. Actually, that's today. So yeah, let's go back and look. Let's see if there was a breaker at 4:30 a.m. and you would have taken a loss real quick here. While we're waiting on 11 o'clock anyway. So. Four. I already lost my spot where I was. What, 4:30. Yeah, so if you look here, there's so it would have been this would have been your first sweep here, and then your double sweep happens right here. Look on your first sweep, your first move to the upside. There's no 1 minute breaker here. It would have kept you out of trouble. And then once you sweep this low here, then this can then become your 1 minute breaker with your double sweep. That's your long right there. Was it cash? Well, that's 1 minute sweep was probably a 1 minute breaker too. Yeah, you actually got a nice 1 minute. It's actually a nice little 1 minute unicorn there on gold. So you got a 1 minute unicorn out of that 5 minute swing. It's not a 15 minute swing. Would have me a little sketch here. Gold's just starting to chop, but yeah. What's NQ doing? All right, let's go back to. So for me, it was for 11 o'clock. We're just watching to see how does this hourly close. Do we close above? If so, then we're looking for a continuation model. Close inside. We can try to frame a little scalp short down to the hourly BISI. So it just comes down to the 9 o'clock high here, and what does the hourly do with it? We are going to try to do last week's London stream today or tonight. So we'll try to be here at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock Eastern. And sorry, yeah. No, we'll be here for the 3 a.m. Eastern. We'll be here. If we have an outside candle like we did tonight. What time did that breaker form? Man, you breaker formed at 4 a.m. Might have still been up, but it's be interesting to see how does this 15 close. 15 close like this. If your 15 and 30 both close bearish like this, you might be in for a bigger pullback, because then you're gonna have a 15 30 minute basically both giving you sweeps on the highs with the 5 minute here. Let's see if we got do we have a 1 minute breaker? Yeah, let's watch this. Let's see if we close below. SMT also. Oh, all right. Oh, we do have an SMT. Yeah, ES is not even close to the highs. Yeah, ES is what? ES is 16, 14, 15 points away from its high. This 1 minute breaker might be good here. Yeah, for a short. At least down to these lows. This isn't really the breaker though. This is it's kind of like some messy structure here. Let's get a 1 minute. You did get a 1 minute CISD here. Let's see if we can get I'm not a fan of taking a short at this time, but this thing might just go. I'm just taking the CISD here back down. There's not really like this maybe for like it's like an ugly breaker, but I think I would try it maybe. Let's let's go with this. The only thing I don't like is the new hourly candles coming, and then we could swipe that high. But if we're gonna be bullish at 11 o'clock, which right now we're gonna close back inside, so you're gonna have an hourly swing point down. Like obviously we have five minutes yet, but yeah, exactly. That's the one thing here. It's the one thing here. But we do have the SMT, but I don't think we're gonna even get back up there. I like the 5 minute here. You got a 15-minute swing. You're gonna have a 30-minute swing. You're gonna have a lot of time alignment here. Time alignment and the hourly. So if you remember, I've talked about that too. You could turn that into a model to where you have the 5 minute, the 15, the 30, and the hourly, all lined up together. So they all have a swing at the same spot. Basically, these highs. If you know, so then you're if you're taking a breaker that has formed that support those sweeps, it's probably a damn good trade. And then obviously, if you have an obvious target, um, take to, like in this case, the hourly BISI, but which usually, these are usually some of my favorite targets when you get when you get a sweep like this, and then you have an obvious like higher time frame gap below. So this thing's closing back inside. Easy target for me is this BISI. Okay, now I'll go to my 5 minute, and how can I get aligned with that? Usually looking for that 5 minute breaker. Which in this case, our breaker would have to be a close below here, which essentially you're still at a negative R trade. So maybe there's something. We'll see if we get any kind of rejection out of here. I'm not gonna short this. Not. We'll see if we get the same kind of setup though. At with like a sweep at 11 o'clock with an SMT, then yeah, I could definitely see this working though, but just because of the SMT, and you do have the 5, the 15. Remember the 5, remember the 15 and 30 have not closed yet though. So, and you have remember for the 15, you want to have, which I guess you do have a 1 minute breaker to the downside. You did close below here, but we'll just wait for this new hourly. I could definitely see this short working, but it's just sloppy because you're just in the middle of chop right now, right? Because here coming up at now you're gonna have a 5 minute swing back to the upside coming into 10 o'clock, but yeah, most likely, yeah, we'll probably go see that. Question is, can we catch a short down to it? Because right now our hourly is going to close bullish, so that would not guarantee that hourly BISI. And the better play might be a continuation model up to the end log, and then you get a short later back down to that BISI. Or we save this BISI for London. Remember we save obvious hourly fair value gaps in London are usually good targets, and that's usually where your 3 a.m. reversal is going to happen too. So say if obviously we're not our dailies, I would say our daily would close bullish here if this happens, which would probably set up like a Wednesday or a Tuesday or Wednesday high of week. So if the daily closes like this, and we come into overnight and we're not hitting, and we have not hit this BISI, what am I expecting? If say we close somewhere up inside of here, I'm expecting Asia to open, looking for a little Asia London to come down here, looking for that 4 hour swing, which hopefully will be on stream. We'll be looking for that 4 hour that 1 hour swing point out of here, catching that 3 a.m. reversal for the New York distribution, and then that sets up what potential Tuesday into maybe a Wednesday high of a week. So see how you're always framing like the daily with the hourly, and going with that. Gold, yeah, gold short work, didn't it? Sure did. Just off of that 30-second breaker. Your RR is absolutely insane. I would still be short though. You'd still want to be short. You have not taken that hourly low. Don't sell short, or don't sell early, or cover early, I should say. All right, let's get ready for 11 o'clock here. 11 o'clock, 30 minutes. Gonna give you a swing, 15-minute. Could give you another swing here. Just kind of sloppy. We'll see what we get. What I'm saying is like there's a lot of times where we'll leave these hourly BISIs for London, so just try not to always get married to them that we have to go to them. Now, if the hourly is closing bearish, then yes, the hourly just closed bullish. It looks like we're opening up right at 25%. So what an ugly, ugly hourly candle there. In terms of like if breaking it down to like the 5 minute. Gold take it. There it is. And there's your gold short. Just waiting for that 5 minute swing point being bearish, which obviously this was the original because you still shouldn't have taken that high. But all right, let's see which way we go here for I am open to both sides here. If this thing wants to open and pump and then close back inside, then I would be okay trying a short with a breaker down to the hourly BISI. Or if it wants to go to 10 a.m. low and then give us like a 5 or 15-minute swing out of it, then that's something I would try back bullish. Why still bullish? Because my 10 a.m. high would still be intact, right? And if it closes bullish, I'm expecting this high to go. Let's see. -4 for gold? Is that what you're talking about? Or oh, and you're talking for I got you. Never mind. Disregard. All right, so we're sitting here. Obviously, we know where 50 sits. We're just sitting right at 25. Hopefully, this thing just doesn't start chopping. This is just ugly now. Looks like the gold short would have gotten stopped out, and then you would have had you just put in one more sweep, and now we go. All right, it's good test. It was good test. Gold work though. Gold's dumping. Man, that was it. What a top tick gold. Obviously, I wouldn't have held for all that, but cool to see that work. And NQ is just stuck in molasses here. We'll give it another 10 minutes and see if it wants to move. If not, we'll wrap it up. A VWAP trader. Interesting. All right. Let me turn this back on. See where is midnight? Yeah, midnight's still down there. Dang, I didn't see that 5 minute. That 5 minute swing that was talking about that delivered this high was actually off of -4. Should have kept it up. What's ES doing? ES looks a little bit stronger here. See if we get an SMT on the hourly high. I guess NQ's right there too. We're still holding, basically right at 25 and 50. Did we make a breaker back up off of 25 there? Yeah, I guess we did. Actually came back down for that lower 30-second breaker. This is just chop though right now. Just chop. We did make a little breaker here back above the open. See if that means we go back up to the 10 a.m. high or not. Let's see. We're getting a pretty good move. We do have a little wick below that open though. We'll see how we react here. If we get like a model 5, if we get a model 5-1 to the downside, I think I would try it. Model 5-1 just being, I would prefer an SMT. Um, Model 5-1 would just be a 5-minute sweep above a 10 a.m. Close back inside the range here. 30-second breaker. Aim for 50, and then you could aim for that hourly BISI as runner. But the RR is just good. So it would look something like this. I don't know, wherever the breaker would form. So it would look something like this. Wherever the sweep would be, and you're looking for 50, and then down here. Even this would be give you what a 3R. So I prefer an SMT as well. All right. But if the 5-minute close above, then I would just be looking for higher prices at that point. And what the daily VI from the gap down on Friday, probably a good target. What 25, 24? That's really it here. We'll see if we can get see if we sweep. See if we sweep 10 at 10 o'clock. How does that 5-minute close? A 30-second breaker down, I would try short. Just based off of open, which that's a pretty good wick down. That's a pretty good size wick down to where it could just be for a continued expansion here. So we take 10 o'clock. ES does not. We do have an SMT for now. We'll see how this 5-minute candle closes here. Close back inside. So I would have to have this be a breaker, which this, I actually like this. It's a little bit further down, but this would give me like a pretty good confirmation that the short should work. If it closes above, then I'm just looking for continue a slow grind, just a slow grind higher, kind of like what was it last Thursday? I think it was last Thursday where we just had a slow grind to the upside. Yep, there's your RTH gap as well. So that makes it even better that is now taken care of. ES has now taken the. There's no more SMT on a 10 o'clock high. I actually think if this turns into a 5-minute BISI, so say obviously we'll see what the next candle does, but assuming this closes over here in 20 seconds, this turns into a 5-minute BISI. This should be a good CISD. This should be a good CISD to take. This order block here with this BISI should be a good for a continuation here. Because what you want to do is your CISDs that form after your hourly open are very, very, very good to get in on any kind of like continuation or even reversals at that point. So if what you want to do is you look for your vertical, get your vertical line out. So I'm looking at 11 o'clock here. So I want to look at So obviously we had what we had 9 o'clock. We'll say 9 o'clock would have started here, and then we go to 10 o'clock here. If I'm looking for continuation, so I'm looking at verticals here. My first CISD that forms after the new hour, and assuming I have some kind of manipulation already down, I would be looking for this CISD to form here. So basically I just made a new CISD order block, whatever you want to call it, with a potential BISI sitting here, depending on obviously on how this candle closes. If I'm looking for continuation, and I've already had manipulation down. I've already had what could be manipulation down. We got a decent size wick down down there, and now if I'm making a CISD back up to the upside after, so basically it's just like a breaker almost, basically, right? Not and like this is not really a breaker, but like you're basically okay. If I'm making a breaker back up through the hourly open, probably a good shot, probably a good chance that I'm now in distribution, right? Same case here where if you're making a new CISD after after manipulating going back up through the hourly open, you're probably starting some kind of of distribution here. Where I think any retest of this 5 minute BISI and this 5 minute CISD would be a good way to get into some kind of continuation long as well. Like if you would miss any kind of retrace to 25 or 50 or something like that, this is just a another way. And you could even go further that you can either take a long out of this because you're expecting that, or you can wait for a 5 minute candle. Right? You can wait for you can wait for a 5 minute swing inside of here, close back above, and then your stop just goes to this low, and then you're just riding dirty all the way back up. But frame your hourlies like this, and then a CISD that's formed after into the new hour usually will hold price. Like if you're looking here, this would have been your CISD. You see it holds price, basically 50% of it, and pushes higher. Obviously, ugly push, but we're slowly getting somewhere there. Yeah, but if you go back and look, so let's just go back and look at more. 8 o'clock. Oh, that hurt. Oh, that hurt. Just crack my back. Really no continuation here. You're just in chop, but you want to like if you're combining it with like some kind of swing point. But yeah, here you made a CISD. You go up and push new hot. That's probably what your low hanging fruit target would have been. So we got a few more. While we're waiting, because I don't see anything here. So this would have been your CISD going into the new hour. Close below, retest, and then obviously you're just pushing. Obviously you're in the lower, you're not gonna have huge distribution at all times, but if you're making a CISD after the open, then you should be good. All right, let's go back and see. Let's close all this out. That's a little. It's a little something that I use as well, though, that I'll throw out there. Because you're not always gonna have like a nice clean breaker, but like so it's a good way to get like into a continuation move. Like if you miss the move off a 25 or a 50. All right, later, Tom. Yeah, I might be done here too. We'll see what we get. See what we get out of this BISI. I would like to see this thing close above and then dip. Really don't want to see a 5 minute swing back down, but 5 minute swing down would then tell me that we're gonna get this BISI, but we'll see what we get. This price is just really lackluster here. We've already hit the RTH gap. It's just really slow. Like this is a spot that I want to try getting along because it just seems like it's gonna be an annoying long if anything. All right, so the 5 minute close is bearish. I'd be looking for a push down into the BISI. The question would be, do we make a breaker? Basically, once we hit the BISI, which there it is. It's the 5-minute total close at. Do we make a breaker here to the downside? You do not want to see this if I'm looking for a long. I do not want to see a 30-second breaker down here. All right. I want to see it respect these two candles. Otherwise, it's going to tell me that we're going to have a bigger push down inside of this BISI, which down to here would be basically your CISD. So far, nothing saying to get long, right? For me to get long, I want to see price close back above this BISI, or I want to see this. If the candle closes inside of it, I want to see a new 5-minute swing form on this candle's low and then close back above. But RTH gap is filled now too, so you just gotta be a little more selective. Because look what time it is. We just got a 5-minute swing at 11:15. What time do we expect manipulation to end? Usually about a quarter after. Sometimes like it's not always gonna be a quarter after. Sometimes you'll just put in a small wick like this and then push higher. But it's just again knowing your key levels here. But for me, if I don't get a 5-minute swing, there's no long trade for me. I wish this was a 15-minute swing because then I would actually, yeah. It's not gonna be a 15. It's just a 5 on the highs, which makes me believe that we probably push back up. But all right, so if I had a 15 and a 5-minute swing up here, this might be like something that I would actually consider a short with. But I don't like that we have a 15-minute bullish above that doesn't have a swing point, right? I would be, if this was a 15-minute swing, I would be confident that this 1 minute would hold, and I could actually maybe try a short here, just based off of the RTH gap fill. But and what else? Time. But so I want to see how we react out of here. If this thing's gonna hold, this is your CISD. So got what, minute and a half? Let's see how this 5-minute candle closes, and we'll watch one more 5-minute candle. Oh, this is tempting. This might be something worth a trying here. It's still gonna be like a 1-to-1. Let's see if we get it. All right, see if we get this breaker here. If we get this breaker, I'm gonna try it. Well, it looks like we're not going to. So basically be a 5-minute, well, yeah, this 5-minute candle is gonna close bearish. All right, so that'll keep me out of that. It looks like, and our 5-minute candle is going to close bearish anyway, which means we're going to take a new 5-minute low potentially here. Obviously, it's got, yeah. So well, actually, it's got 30 seconds till it closes, but no breaker there keeps me out of trouble. There you go. All right, so the new 5-minute candle is going to close. We'll see what this thing might close all the way down here. We'll see how the next one, what the next one does. You're still in the CISD here. It's just getting slow, and we haven't really gone anywhere. Haven't gone too much. All right, so we take that low. Dang, it's gonna be 11:15 full on reversal here. Maybe. All right, we taking this 5-minute inverse. What do we think? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. See if we still don't get any kind of breaker to the upside unless we get above here. Just ugly. Just ugly. Yeah, so we'll watch. We'll see how this 5-minute candle closes, and then closes below. Then I'm just gonna say we're probably just gonna push down lower or just start chopping up inside of here. If we get a bullish, we can look for a breaker back to the highs. I don't like that the breaker's way up here though, because your stop would have to be at this swing low. But there's just nothing screaming trade me today. Just nothing A plus here. It is. It is. Yeah, and you get the hourly biscuit down there. You do. It's a lot. It's a lot built up here. And for me, it's just like my 15 is still bullish here, right? My 15 the candle is still bullish here until this 15-minute candle closes below here. Then the 15s to me is still bullish. Right, this is just an inside candle. Granted, you do have the 5-minute swing up here, you know, doing its job. And we'll see what happens from here. Remember, the first 2 minutes of your 5-minute candle can also be just manipulation. So if it just moved down, we'll see. We'll see how this 5-minute candle closes. Maybe there's enough time to put in a new up candle that we can use as a breaker for a little better RR here. Like, so maybe this, you know, like if we can put in some up candles here and then take a new low, this can then maybe become your bullish breaker, and then your RR is a lot better. All right, then your RR looks something like this. Right, instead of like this, if this would be the breaker. But if the 5-minute candle closes below, then I have no interest, right? So I mean, yeah, I guess people would say that's LR running all of this down. Just basically trendline liquidity. Yep. Very, very ugly move up. No, so we just got that. This is not a breaker. Remember, this is not a breaker here. We did not take a new low. This is not the breaker. This could be a nice breaker. We would have to take a brand new low though, and you're about to get a new you're about to get a new 5-minute candle. So see if we can take this low. If we can take this low, only thing I'm going to long here is if we can take this low, we have to close above these up candles, and this would be the long, but it's got to happen in the next minute. Like we need to put in a new 5-minute low, and then this 5-minute candle also has to close back up inside of here too. Otherwise, there's just nothing to it, right? Because this closes below. What am I expecting? I'm expecting a new low to be put in, but. Now, even if the new 5-minute candle opens up here in 10 seconds and puts in and takes the low and then gives me a breaker, I would still take that. Because if I'm making a 30-second breaker to back up to the upside after a new 5-minute candle sweeps a low as manipulation, this 5-minute low should be safe if I'm making a breaker in the opposite direction. Let's see. ES also had a swing up there on the 5 minute. Nice. So it could also be a 1 minute breaker, but now it's like time is like getting away now too, right? Like I don't want to be it's getting to be 11:30 and I'm crushing back through the open here. So 11:15 reversal has sent me back through the hourly open. It's likely it's getting to the time where I'm not expecting like distribution back up to the upside now, right? 11:15 reversal sends me back through the hourly open. This was likely my hourly wick right here. This was likely my manipulation. Does that make sense? Just simply because of the timing of this reversal. 11:15, actually the 11:10 candle, um, and then back through back through the open. Now for me, like I said, it kept me bullish until now. This low goes on the 15. So yeah, just nothing A plus today. Just it all made sense. It all made sense. It's not like anything crazy, but like we made sense of it using candle closures and swing points. But it's just a matter of there's just nothing A plus that's screaming at me. There was no clean 10 o'clock continuation or a 10 o'clock reversal. Just nothing screaming at me here. Just when you look at this, that's what you should expect. But all right, guys. So we'll be back for London. I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow or not. We'll see. But I'll definitely be back Wednesday, Thursday if I'm not here tomorrow. We'll see how London goes, and then we'll go from there. But all right, guys. I'm going to end it here. Probably push for that hourly busy now. So all right, take care. Trade safe. We'll see you guys tomorrow or for London. All right, peace.